What is up, y'all? I'm Benjamminoutdoors, and this is my channel. Welcome back, y'all, to the Concours 1400 build. So today I'm actually doing everything that it takes to make sure it runs amazing. Stuff like cylinder inspection, valve clearance check, compression test, just everything. Lubricate the cylinders, make sure it's on first startup it's good, just everything. So y'all stay tuned and enjoy the video. So I finished all the repairs on the crankcase. Both the holes are threaded and they're working great. I got to find a few more bolts because of course there were some broken ones. After that, I'm going to spray it down with some degreaser, wipe everything down, and then after that, I'm going to pull the spark plugs out. I'm going to do a visual inspection with my camera, look in the cylinders, make sure they're all good. I'm going to put some oil inside of each one, so when I turn it over for the first time, it doesn't scratch any of its walls, because this thing hasn't run in a while. After that, I'm going to put some brand new spark plugs in it, and then I'm probably going to do a valve clearance check, and then I'm going to reseal this valve cover to make sure it will not leak in the future, because I'm pretty sure it was leaking over here. There's some stuff seeping out, I believe. So to make sure that doesn't happen again, I'm going to reseal it. Now you got to make sure this push rod's in here. I'm also going to put a little bit of sealant between the block and the thermostat and in between the actual thermostat housing itself, just because I've had bad luck in the past and it's probably going to be a pain to get to, just like it is on this one. So I've had bad luck in the past with that, so I'm just going to seal up a little bit and then we'll get back to it. Gonna spray this water pump real quick. Just clean it up real nice, making it look as good as I can before I put it back together. I guess this part of the motor I can like actually pressure wash, but before I put the headers on and stuff, but it's fine. So the water pump's all cleaned off, so I'm going to turn the water pump to where it matches the oil pump in there, and then I will push it in. Okay, that's interesting. There is something like, looks like rubber down in there. I don't know what the heck that is. Heck.
All right. Okay, well that was interesting. Okay, I think that's all the way down. Holy cow. That cross hatching is amazing. There's a little scuffing on the walls right there. This motor apparently has 60,000 miles on it. So this thing looks tremendous for 60,000 miles. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in there. Now I'm gonna agitate it in there. You can see oil on the walls. Little bit of scarring right there, but super minimal. Man, it looks great. Next one. Man, that wall looks so good. Golly, looks pretty good. Which there is some oil on the cylinder walls, surprisingly. But I'm still going to lubricate them. All right, so I'm going to turn it over. I'm actually going to probably put a compression tester on it real quick and see what it's doing. Like 140. It went over a little bit over 125, so. Oh wow, so that's a lot higher. 155, maybe? About 150. I'd say they're all pretty good. All above 125, close to 150. I'm gonna put all the plugs back in and then do a valve inspection. Just a tad bit of anti-seize. All right, that's pretty tight. Just a dab. See if this one threads in good, because it was having a trouble a few minutes ago. There we go. All right, spark plugs are good. There's the VVT. So the valve clearance for the exhaust is 0.19 to 0.24 millimeters. And the intake is 0.12 to 0.17 millimeters. I got this cylinder at top dead center, so we're gonna measure that real quick. 0.20, so 0.17. Oof, that is hella tight. So I have the manual, but I am going to look at the timing and just look at it real quick to kind of verify before I take it all apart that I can put it back together correctly. So the 2 dots right here on the exhaust cam are horizontal with the case. I'm gonna pull this off because I'm gonna reseal this but as you can see, it is perfectly level over here. And this is on the 1/4 top. I didn't see it at first, but there's actually a mark right here. It's a little hard to see. This 1/4 mark right here is gonna line up perfectly with the case halves, and these 2 dots up here, that line right there. We're good right now. I'm gonna start pulling out the tensioner and then take all this stuff off and then pull the caps off and then pull the cams out. Gonna pull the tensioner off first. So the chain should be relatively loose. Oh yeah, the chain's loose. Double O-rings. So yeah, they're in there pretty good. That's for sure. Ooh. So this is 1 right here. This is 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 2 are exhausts, and 3 and 4 are intake. So I guess it says intake right, exhaust right. So I guess that's pretty straightforward. Oh, this is so nice. Here's cam 1. Cam 2. It's always good to put like a zip tie on this thing so you can just easily retrieve it. All right, so the moment of truth. I don't know which size shims these are. Hopefully they're 9. Yeah, they look like they're gonna be, I think 9.45, or sorry, 9.48 shims, which I actually have the most of. So we're going to pull all these buckets out and put them in the corresponding spot. Now I gotta figure out what I need to put under each bucket. And so first I'm gonna start with all the intakes, which is up here. And they need to be between 0.12 and 0.17 millimeters. So they are all, every single one of these are at 0.102. So I need to decrease that shim size by 0.05 approximately to try to hit dead in the center of 0.12 to 0.17. So that's what I'm probably going to do, is just decrease those by 0.05 probably. So first one, doesn't seem like there's much depth on it in terms of the wear, so I should be able to get a fairly accurate measurement here. So 2.19. So do I have a 2.15 is what I'm wondering. Let's see. 2.15 right here. So I am going to put this back into the bucket and put it inside the engine right now. I'm gonna squirt some oil in there. Put the shim in. And spray some in the bucket. Now I'm gonna go to the next one. So again, the wear isn't very deep. So as you can see on some of these, let's get some old shims out. If you can tell, this shim, you can actually see the depth that was worn into the shim. And this one that came out of this bike The surface is a little worn, but that's about it. This one actually has an indentation in it. These shims actually look pretty good. I mean, if you measure the thickness, it should be pretty accurate because it doesn't look like the valve wore into the shim at all, or not much at all. So you can actually get a good measurement by measuring with the gauge. Some of these older shims on some of my other bikes, like this one, you can actually tell the thickness of this shim in the center is smaller than the outside. And so if you measure the outside, it's gonna give you an incorrect measurement. So I can actually probably measure these accurately with my gauge, and so hopefully I can do this all in one shot. Hopefully I don't have to do this multiple times, pulling the cams out, putting them back in. It's just a pain. So this is a 2.28. I could go down to a 2.25 because that'd be the closest measurement for sure. So of course this happens every time. I need more 2.25s because I need them for all up here. So I'm having to go with the sanding method. I'm doing 220 and then 1,000, trying to get it down 0.05 millimeters. So I might have to do it for these, and then maybe some of these, I don't know. But I'm gonna have to order some more of these probably when I'm done with this. I bumped it down 0.02 so far. I'm gonna do a little bit more, and then I'm gonna polish it up with the 1,000 grit. I'm at 2.26. I'm going to do 1,000 grit now to try to get it to 2.25. Gucci. So now it's resurfaced for a thinner shim size. It's a huge pain, but it's better to have exact spec than it being off. This needed the 2.20. This one needed the 2.25. So all the intakes are done. So I got all the intakes done. I just have to do the exhausts now. And the clearance is 0.19 to 0.24. And so over on the left side, I have the shim size, and the right side is the actual gap. These are all the same, but these actually change. So I'm gonna have to just go through, according to that, try to get between those two numbers. So you just go down, like I said, I've already done it before, I showed y'all. It's not that big a deal. I'm gonna go through it now, and hopefully I have all the shims I need and don't have to sand any more down. Okay, so I'm on the last one, and I ran out of 2.20 and 2.25s, unfortunately. I think I ended up having to shave down 3 shims, and I'm on the very last one. This one was a 2.28 off of one of the intake valves, and I had to shave it down to 2.23 to make this gap a 2.02. Lubricate everywhere, make sure everything's got oil on it. So when I put the cams back in, she's good. So we're still at TDC down here. And so I'm gonna pull the timing chain back up, put it into its spot. And you always wanna pull up on the intake side of the chain because this side is what's not gonna move. This part over here is where the tensioner is. So when you pull that, it'll tighten it up over here. So you always want to do this side first, make sure this side's good. Put the cam in this way. So this side's still pretty good, the 2 dots, and I'm trying to line this side up. You can typically push on where the tensioner is, and then it'll tighten it up, and you can see if both are good. And that is not good. So I'm gonna have to try to pull some of that chain back out, rotate. I went 2 teeth and it's just a little bit more. I'm pretty sure that is good. Put a little bit of oil on it. I'm just gonna snug these down a little bit. Actually, they all went down pretty good. I think you reset this thing by like pulling these things apart and push it back in or something. So to make sure everything goes smoothly, I put a ratchet down here on the crank itself so it wouldn't spin. And then I'm putting the cam caps on the exhaust side on first, so this won't rotate. I tried to put them on the intake side and it just threw everything off. So exhaust side first seems to work better. Intake right. Sick, just put this cap on real quick. So I gently put a pair of vice grips on the center of the cam. It doesn't matter, obviously, there. And I pulled it back over because this cam was rotated because obviously a lobe was pushing down and it was wanting to turn a certain way. So I pulled it over and it looks to be level. Got the line over here, got the 2 dots over here. And then you go down here, and this line is lined up with the case halves. So I am going to put the tensioner back in, which I already got it compressed. You have to squeeze those in, and then I compressed it with a C-clamp. Basically put that clip right there in that groove. It holds that, and then obviously it holds it just enough to where you can get it in there, and then like you bump it and it tightens it up. So let's check these exhaust valves. So 0.229, basically 0.23 is a little bit too big. Let's see if 0.20 fits. Oh yeah, that fits in pretty nice and easy. So the measurement was between 19 and 24 millimeters. So this is in spec. This previously was 0.127. So this is a lot better now. So I'm gonna do intakes real quick. This should be close to 0.15. Let's see, this one, the first one is 0.15. Yeah, that one's 0.15. This one was probably 13, I think. That's what it was measured out to be. All those are in spec. Heck yeah. Now I'm going to keep on going down the line. So all the valves check out. They are all above spec on the intake side. Some of them are just above spec, which, you know, it is what it is. I only have increments of 0.05, and so it's hard to get close to like dead center of there if, you know, I only have 0.05 increments. Anyway, these are all pretty good. They are between 20 and 22. And spec is 19 to 24, so I'm pretty happy with all that. This should run super well. I'm super happy. So let's go ahead and put all this together. All right, so I'm going ahead and tighten everything pretty good. I don't have a torque wrench for these bolts. I only have a big torque wrench. So I am not able to torque these specifically, unfortunately. Probably should have put this chain cover on first. All right, so this side of the gasket's good. I'm going to put it on there. First, I'm going to wipe the surface down real quick. I'm going to quickly go over all the bolts. I'm going to grab any excess with a pick that I saw that stuck out.
So the motor is in tip-top shape and it's ready to be thrown back into the bike. Hopefully we can have it cranked up within the next few days. Y'all stay tuned for it.